many of you have your software duct taped together? You may have multiple software solutions tied to something else, and at the end of the day, it really doesn't do what you want it to do, and you're still working off those manual spreadsheets because it just sometimes is easier to manipulate the data. So here are the things that you need to know if you're tired of having all of your solutions duct taped together and it's time to move on to ERP. Here's what you need to start that baseline of getting ready for an ERP. One, you need a budget. It is not cheap, and you need to know ahead of time how much money you can allocate to it and know, hey, do you have the funds to pay for it? Are you going to have to get a loan? Use your line of credit? What does that look like? You don't want to have that sticker shock to think, hey, I thought I was going to pay maybe $5,000 to $10,000, and then you see something for $50,000. Second thing is go through who you are today and where you want to be, and build out those requirements. If you don't have a requirement list, it's really going to be hard to select a solution that's going to be the right one for you. Because if you don't have those, anything could work for you. I also always tell people, don't put the dumb things on there. Like, I need the system to be able to write a check. Yes, they all help you write a check, I promise you. So really think of these from a strategic point of view of what is unique about you that you need the system to do for you. Lastly, I would say as you're going through this baseline process of it is make sure that everybody is aligned in the organization about where you're going. Be very transparent about things, have lots of conversations, because we all know change is hard and it's harder for some people more than others. And if you don't start having those conversations early, you're going to get people that are, hey, you know what, this kind of seems like a dumb idea. I really like my Excel spreadsheets and I'd like to stay there. Thank you very much. Versus the people on the other side saying, hey, this is fantastic. Look at these automations. So you need to be able to have that communication up front and keep everybody in line. There's a lot of misconceptions about moving from a solution like QuickBooks or even a smaller solution and you're ready to move to an ERP. And I see this all the time. People think, oh, you know what? My friend uses this. Let's just go there. That sounds fantastic. Or, hey, it's kind of like throwing spaghetti at the wall. This one sounds good. I like the colors of their logo. Not to make fun of myself when I look at football teams and I'm like, hey, you know what? I like the color of these jerseys. That's going to be the team I like. And it can be the same thing when you're looking at software as well. So you really need to be diligent in understanding what to look for. The other thing that people get wrong is thinking that an ERP implementation can be done very quickly. I've had people say, oh, we should be up and running in 2 weeks, right? Absolutely not. We're looking at 9 to 12 months on a good side. And that's if your data is clean and you and your team are ready to go with this process. Make sure that you have built-in time that this implementation is going to take longer than you think it's going to, and be very realistic about that. I've had clients that I work with say, hey, you know what? Nobody's taking off these 2 weeks because we got to push hard and get this work done so that we can get things done on time. So understand that implementations are not the snap of a finger like we all wish they would be. Super easy. They do take a lot of time. When you're starting to go down this route of the ERP, who really should be on your team and involved in the organization when making this decision? I always say, hey, you're going to have your top dogs that are in the company, your COO, your CFO, your CEO, and then you're going to have a lot of the other executives in there because it's going to touch their departments. And so they all need to be aligned on it. And then you're going to want to involve a handful of your managers in there so they can help take the communication from the executives and push it down to everybody out on the floor and within the office. And you're going to want to involve some of your subject matter experts to come in and help with your requirement documentation. The other thing that you really need to be mindful of is when you're bringing in managers and subject matter experts, be very strategic with who those people are going to be, because you want them to be able to add value. The other thing I always stress is never let the CFO or the head of sales run the ERP. You want to have operations be running the decision of the ERP solution, because that's what the software is going to really take care of, is all of those intricate details that have to do with it. If you just have sales, yes, you're going to get a phenomenal CRM and all of that in there. You're probably going to bring an ancillary solution in. but you just don't want them or the CFO running the deal. So before you're out there shopping and talking to vendors and whining and dining the whole experience, you have to make sure you have requirements and that you know who you are and where you want to go, because any solution will fit you. And if you don't have those in place, you need to know security, you need to know operationally and finance what types of reports that you need, commissions, and any other solutions that are going to come into this ERP. They need to know what those are going to be, because otherwise they may not support certain things that you are looking for. And then it's a waste of your time to engage that vendor to come in or even go down the road of seeing demonstrations. If any of this resonated with you and you're kind of in that space of, I need to move to the next solution, possibly an ERP, or possibly just evaluating the system I have and seeing if it's right, then make sure to reach out. This is something I help clients with all the time. We can go through an easy diagnostic to make sure you're on the right path of choosing the ERP that's right for you, because I would hate for you to get down the road, you choose something, and then I get that phone call that says, hey, by the way, we found something and we absolutely hate it. How can you help us? So I like to stay ahead of this with clients and prospects and just anybody out there to help them not regret what they're buying.